This leads us into the next thing I want to talk about, Sam, and that's the TRIZ, T-R-I-Z framework that you advocate. Can you briefly explain why a structured approach to innovation makes sense? Because again, we often think about innovation as something that comes to us in a dream at night, or while walking in the woods, or something like that. And you really advocate for sort of more boring left brain approach.
Yeah, which is, and it's always a cautionary approach for me in a business like Ogilvy to talk about systematic creativity, but I'm a big believer in it. And TRIZ, as you mentioned, is a fascinating framework. It's a framework developed by a Russian engineer who was a wonderfully inventive teenager, found himself very quickly in the Russian naval patent office, where he was surrounded by patents every day, and he actually realized that most of the solutions that were being sort of legally signed for patents or going through the naval system were actually replicating existing solutions that had already existed. So the team eventually audited about 200,000 patents to identify the level of inventiveness, and really just to see how innovative are these innovative solutions that we claim, and not many. Only about 1% they identified as being sort of true innovation, and up to sort of 95% just being different executions of the same engineering solution. So what TRIZ does then is look at these patterns of existing solutions. So if you imagine in the world of biological evolution, we look at species based on different features. We look at the presence of gills, or being warm blood, or breathing through oxygen or having a spinal cord, and that helps us to sort of classify different species. In TRIZ, what they've done is break up 40 different patterns of engineering or technical solutions. They call them inventive principles. So, for example, one inventive principle, I think it's number 7, is the nested doll. If you imagine the classic Russian nested doll, the babushka doll, that's sort of the pattern of solutions that span telescopic lenses of a camera, that span a nail polish that has the brush that goes inside the bottle, a Kinder Surprise. They're all example of a nested doll solution. And the same we can see things like segmentation, breaking things up. So turning curtains into Venetian blinds is an example of segmentation. Having a single lounge or sofa that's converted into a modular sofa, that's an example of segmentation. So what TRIZ does is identify these inventive principles. But the final step, if I'm not taking too long on this answer, Roger, but the final step is how these inventive principles are then used to solve problems. So the final piece that the team have developed is a matrix, where they look at sort of attractive outcomes or challenges that might need to be solved by innovation. So looking at things like length, weight, volume, speed. And so say we're faced with the challenge of increasing the volume of something without increasing its length. That's a challenge that needs to be solved in innovation. And what the matrix does is help us to see, well, which inventive principle might we draw upon to do that? So nested doll might be a good example of a pattern of solutions to increase volume without increasing length. A telescopic lens has an increased sort of volume of lenses. I'm sort of going off on this one, but it helps us to sort of go, okay, to solve that problem, look first to inventive principle number 7.